What do you make of these Paul Keating comments on NATO, and what's the importance of this meeting generally?
Oh, look, Keating's is kind of a sad and pathetic figure now. I just feel pity for Keating, really. I just think the ALP people have got to stop saying he's a great statesman, but he's wrong on this. He's not a great statesman. I mean, this abusive personal attack on Jens Stoltenberg. The only person in Australia who practices Trump-like politics is Paul Keating. I mean, with all this personal abuse and his wild disregard of the facts, claiming China is the biggest economy in the world. It's only about 2/3 the size of America. But more on the substance of NATO, though, I think this wedge-tail deployment is interesting, and I'm not against it, but it strikes me as the sort of typical tokenistic thing that Australia always does. NATO does not need Australia to defend it with its own military aircraft. That's just kind of ridiculous. And you can't really sell this as supporting Ukraine because it's not going to go anywhere near Ukrainian airspace. I mean, this strikes me as the sort of tiny niche deployment, which is what we normally do. And then that kind of convinces the public that we're doing something significant on defence, earns us a few brownie points with our allies, and is an excuse for doing nothing. Meanwhile, you know, we're still waiting for all these reviews after the Defence Strategic Review. And it looks as though this will be a substitute for the government giving any real resources to the Ukrainian government because it can pay for this deployment just out of deployment funds. I mean, look, it's...
Greg, do you discount, though, a further announcement in Lithuania? Surely, I mean, I don't have any inside knowledge on this. I've been trying to find out. But you'd expect that if he's going to meet Zelensky, wouldn't you, Albanese?
You would, and we might get something. The problem, though, Andrew, is this. Our last effort was just a pile of old junk, which we were going to throw away, and it would have cost us more to throw it away because you can't dispose of ammunition anymore just by blowing it up in the desert. You've got to decommission it and so on. And up until now, see, Penny Wong has defended the foreign affairs budget. Richard Marles has not defended the defence budget. So anything we've given to the Ukrainians has come straight out of our own order of battle and our own defence budget. But the government is cutting the defence budget and cutting programs, and there's no sign of any new platforms. So if we offer to give Ukraine 100 Bushmasters, that'd be absolutely what they want, and that would be fantastic. But then in order not to suffer a loss ourselves, we'd have to commit to making 100 new Bushmasters, which means the government would have to spend a few more dollars on defence. I'd like them to take, say, $50 or $100 million out of the aid budget and give that to Ukraine as humanitarian aid, offer them some Bushmasters and replenish those back home. But up until now, this government has, which I think is generally good on national security, but it's been too tricky in trying to get out of this without actually spending a single dollar. It seems to have determined that it's not going to spend one more dollar on defence. And I don't think you can do what we need to do, much less help Ukraine as well, with our existing defence budget.